What is up, guys? It's YodaDaWise here. We're going to be talking about uh, the Comet Czar. It's a newer commander that came out recently, and let's see how he fits in. So, at first glance, the first thing that comes to mind for me, if anybody's played The Legend of Zelda, this is Zora meets Jedi. Yeah, no, the Zora Jedi reject. They look like lightsabers, and he reminds me of Azora from The Legend of Zelda. But anyways, so his first skill is Meteor Rush. It has a 40% chance to trigger. The attack is guaranteed to hit and be a crit. And if it takes down the target, all enemy damage taken by 60% will not be cleared. Again, terrible translation like it normally is. What I think they're trying to say is that if you do end up taking down at least one target, your damage reduction will go up 60%. That's what it sounds like. They make it very difficult to really know exactly what they're talking about. His second skill is Lightning Pierce. 100% chance to trigger. If the number of allied soldiers types is more than equal to the enemy's, turn 30% damage into true damage. If the number of allied soldiers types is less than that of the enemies, gain 30% damage reduction until the end of the battle and will not be cleared. What does this mean? Basically, this means is you have to have multiple options in terms of tier 12, if that's what you're running, or tier 9, 10, 11, open. Because the more diversity you have in your march, he's either going to get true damage if he's got more diversity, or he's going to get damage reduction if he doesn't have more diversity. We'll take a moment in just a bit to show you what I'm talking about in terms of that diversity. So, this is what I'm talking about in terms of troop diversity. You have three different types of T12. Now, these are on the higher end of T12 in terms of the newer ones. The point is, you want to have at least two or more different type of troops in these slots. Now, say you put in T12, T11, 9, 10 in each slot. Now, is that going to be smart in terms of battling? No. So you want to take the highest amount, or you want to basically get to T12 like everybody wants to get to, and then have that diversity, not just opening one, but opening multiple. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of different T12. You have six different types of T12. They all have their own unique skill, they all have their own unique winning technique. But say you only have one T12 open, then you might want to put at least one slot of the T11, maybe if you really don't have any other option to put one of these in there in just one slot, I wouldn't full march it. I'd put at least just one soldier in there just to get that bonus trigger, depending on which one you're really going for in terms of damage reduction or true damage. And the way the meta is going, you're going to want the true damage. And I'll explain why in just a moment. My best advice is for the fourth plugin skill would be Wings of Eternity. I have it set up with dodge just because infantry is dodge, even though the you know, if you put it to strength and weakening or crit wither, those will probably be better in terms of survivability depending on how you have your equipment build. This is what I use for my Dragon Slayer, so in terms of what I have available, it's between these two, to where one's more damage reduction and one is more just making sure it triggers. I would recommend the Fire Spirit Pants just to make sure that everything triggers, just because one of them is a 40% trigger rate, which is the first skill. The next is always go penetration. I have the two alkalides here. We'll go into other options in a bit because he does have his own specific weapon. It's called the Comet Czar exclusive M110. All allies get 6% crit damage, 6% skill trigger chance for each type of soldier you have. I'll show you his weapon in a moment. But once again, you want the skills to trigger. And his weapon, if you have the exclusive, is going to 6% times whatever many times you have in terms of diversity. So this right here is the M110. So, like I read off a moment ago, all allies get 6% crit damage, 6% trigger rate for chance for each type of soldier you have. It's going to be penetration and it's going to be total crit damage. So, this is just making it a powerhouse. The reason why you want it to be a powerhouse and you want that trigger rate is the next reason why you would want that true damage. And that's the next reason why you want as much diversity in your march. Because of this foreboding weapon that 7 pirates decided to create that only the rich can afford to just further the gap between those who spend money and those who don't. And then people like me, where I do spend some money in the game, but not enough. Not enough. The reason for this is because of his second skill attribute. If you have diversity and you have more different troop types than the opponent or equal to the opponent, it turns into true damage. The true damage negates Broken Fortress. It ignores it. So you're definitely going to want that true damage, right? Otherwise, you're at the mercy of going first and then doing no damage because of the 100% damage reduction that Broken Fortress does until the slot activates for the first time. And then you got to hope that you survive. And I'm going to do a different video with all these new gears that you see down here, and what they will be better suited for. I'm not necessarily going to go over exactly what commander would be best for each one. That'd take too much time. We're going to just more or less give a demographic of the type of gameplay that you're using it for. Now, to show you the difference here, and mind you, I don't win these usually. It's okay. Caillou, I would say the main reason why I lose this one is because he's got the Kane's jewel set, so I'm stuck only using Czar's skills. But this is a good example of having more diversity or equal diversity to your opponent and getting that true damage, or what it looks like when you have the true damage buff. So automatically it's going to trigger lightning pierce. I have more diversity. You see all the up arrows? That's showing you that it has true damage. And I believe Kane's also negates the plug-in skill as well. So I don't have the ability to have Wings of Eternity go off and have him just go nitty-witty on Caillou right now. Here's another example. This one is going to be a better example in terms of showing you what it looks like when he gets the damage reduction buff. Why? Because Horseman had more diversity than I did. I only had 3 different troop types. He put in 6. And as you can see, it's a combination of walker and infantry, which proves the point that it doesn't matter how much that diversity is. Even if you were to put 3 different troop types in the back slot just to be placeholders that are going to die anyways. That way you don't have to, full march or waste larger troops. That would be a strategy in itself. But let's take a look at what that looks like with the damage reduction. Lightning pierce. And now you have that orb above each troop that's designating that it's going to receive a 30% damage reduction buff. Here you can also see kind of how his attack works with the Wings of Eternity, because he just kind of keeps hitting and hitting and hitting. And I had this really slow so you can see the damage marker on it. But anyways, I lose. It's okay. I'm not here to show that, I'm a winner in that aspect. It's more or less to get you this information. Moral of the story is he is a commander that demands you use different troop type. Or not different troop type, but like different troops. So here's an example of what I was talking about. You could literally put in a single troop as long as it's different with the anticipation that those ones are going to die and that your slot 1 will hopefully survive, or you place that full march slot somewhere in the 6, and that's going to give you an additional 36% trigger rate if you have his special weapon. That's nearly an 80% trigger rate for that first skill. 76%. Now when you tack on the fire spirit pants, now you're almost at 100% trigger rate for that first skill. Man, come to think of it, if I was an infantry main, this might be a good thing to do, just because of the whole damage or true damage that you can get from his first skill or second skill. I've only seen a couple people actually main him. Why? Because he comes as an A-class commander, and I believe you had to spend money to get him to S-class that I obviously didn't do. I'm more one of those people that sits patiently and waits for it to come into the release 10 and just kind of bide my time saving the permits to just go ham on the release 10 stuff, because yeah, I after so many years of playing this game, I just try not to spend the money any more than I need to. And by need, it's more like what I think I need, not necessarily the necessity. Hope you guys liked the video. Hope it gave you enough information on the new commander, Comet Czar. Biggest thing here is going to be his ability to generate true damage to combat Broken Fortress. Could be a game changer for everybody out there that has either infantry as their main, or they just were able to create a infantry commander that's going to just rock someone's world, even just because you have everything unlocked. Till next time.